Manik?
Sorry, just hold on one quick second, please.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Sorry.
It's okay, Manik. So, shall we start?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think we have two things from our end. One is about the QR scanner and then about a spike that we are working on currently in our sprint. So, I just leave it to the developers. Eril, can you please take over?
Yeah, sure, Kalpana. So let's first start with this QR functionality. Have you had a chance to discuss with this with David? So he said he had something that Kamil had informed him, and he was talking about that with you.
Guys, you are in a live conversation with David and Kamil more than I am. So, what I'm interested in knowing is what is the problem?
So that
What is Kamil asking you to use? Here is the JSON you sent me. What is Kamil
our
asking you to use?
let me just open that up.
I'm sharing my screen, by the way. You see my screen, yes? Hello?
So in this JSON, he had mentioned something about node ID, but so far there is no such field, or we're not sure if he means some other field as node ID. To get more information about that from him.
I thought he responded to your thread already.
Hmm. Actually, what he means is so in this UID, say for example in unit 1, uh, the UID is startup level 1 1.02/unit 1. So from what he has replied, it seems that we need to slice off the last part and consider that as the node ID. That's what he's
Okay.
trying to tell.
So tell me this. What do you expect your QR code to do? Forget what it is, what property it is using. What do you want it to do? I'm gonna
Uh,
guess for a moment that this is not important data for this. I'm also gonna guess that this is not important data for this. Again, this is not important here. Oh, sorry, never mind. Actually, let's just leave it. Tell me, what do you want your QR code to do?
so there are two types. One, QR should direct link to the activity. So if there is an audio activity or video activity, it should directly
No, 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 no,
provide
no.
the link to that.
My dear, talk in context of this JSON file. Tell me line number. This is the line number that the QR code wants to get to.
Okay,
What?
so so in line number 31, so that is the lesson one content.
Mm-hmm.
So that contains the lesson one's detail from starting from there. So if it is a lesson QR code, we need to get to this point. So what is the lesson? What are its activities? We need to get there.
Okay.
And the other one is directly to the activity. So in line number 44, if the user scans an activity directly, it should take us to that particular activity directly.
Can one activity exist in two lessons?
No,
Is it because you know that it's not true, or are you assuming here and you haven't really checked?
no, I'm sure.
Is it because based on the data that you have seen so far, or is it because a business person told you that that is never a possibility?
It's based on the data we have received so far.
Okay, so you're assuming that based on data so far, that hasn't happened, so you don't think it will happen.
Yes.
Okay, so what you want to say is that it hasn't happened yet, but then it's
Okay.
not definite that
So
it doesn't want to happen. Why can't an activity be used in two different
yes.
lessons? You have used
Um,
textbooks where the same concept is covered in two different chapters. Yes?
yeah.
Okay, so that is possible.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I'm assuming actually.
you're making the wrong assumption there. Okay, now QR code. Let's go back to your email. Content ID. What is this content ID here?
Which one, David? Sorry, Manik. Which one?
I'm looking at your email.
Which line number, Manik?
You're looking at my screen, yes. Oh, wait. No, I'm not sharing my screen. Let me do this. All right. So now you are this. What is it here?
No, Manik. I'm still not seeing the screen.
Anyone else seeing your screen?
No, I'm still not getting the screen.
What are you seeing right now?
Yeah. Yeah, I just got your screen.
Okay.
I lost
All
it
right.
again.
Let me do it again. Let me know when you see my email window.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, we can
Yeah,
see.
I can see.
Okay. So what is this email that Mahashmi wrote? Yes, David, we agree with it. So the key data will be as this.
So you want to know what the content ID is, right?
This entity type says lesson. So entity type is going to map to this lesson object. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, this is a lesson, right?
31. Yeah. Line number 31. That object.
Line number 31 is the lesson.
Yes.
Okay, line number. So children, this line number 17, 18 is a unit,
Yes, yeah.
and line number 31 is the lesson. Okay. So in this case, what is PPE? That sounds such a ridiculous.
That was the name that came up as a
I,
suggestion for the name.
I thought we'd agreed to another name here. Epic app. What is David saying? P mob. Yeah, that's what you should use. Why are you using PPE? That's ridiculous. P mob is better.
Okay.
So we already know the name. Uh, old, but as we already know the name, Pearson practice English. PPE. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't
Manik,
matter.
David suggested that QR code is the
Sorry, I can't understand what you're saying. Your voice is completely broken.
I think
Can
she
you
means that
hear?
the use the PPE because of the Pearson practice English.
That's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem. Okay. So this is trying to use a lesson. So what is this content ID here?
Content ID is the ID for the JSON. So each product, so startup level one is a product. So to get
No, no.
this,
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
to get to the
Hold,
JSON,
hold, hold, hold. Wait, wait. Okay. Tell me what will this entry be here for this based on what you want to do. This will say lesson. Let's say I want to
mhm.
get to this lesson here, line number
Yeah.
33. So what do you think the content ID is going to be here?
The content ID is the file that you're, the name of the file that you're actually opened here, the 370C58. So that is the
DB. So
content
basically
ID of
this
this
ID.
JSON.
Line number
Yeah.
4.
Yes.
Okay. This is content ID. Okay. What is UID?
UID is the for lesson one. The UID will be line number 43.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what I would like you to
Mhm.
launch lesson. Yeah.
Okay.
And Manik, sorry Manik, content ID as we discussed LL, it will be the product ID. Product ID of startup level 1, not this ID.
Isn't this the one?
Okay.
Give me the
No
line
Manik,
number, guys.
in this JSON file, the line number will be not presented. It will be in the manifest file. From the manifest, we'll get the product ID.
Why are you getting it from the manifest? Which manifest? Oh, the manifest, the one that comes in
Yes,
from the
yes.
website.
Yes.
Yes, Manik. So that will be checked whether the JSON has been fetched or not.
Okay, so I'm gonna say here manifest dot product ID. Yeah.
Yes, Manik.
Okay.
Yes, Manik. Okay.
Alright. This is so this property here, line number 21 is called a unit, right? These are
Yes.
units.
Yes.
They're always units,
Yes.
regardless of the product you're using. They're always units.
Yes. So if startup is a product and it will have units, and inside of it, it will be lessons and so on like that.
You understand what this means here? You're using that property under a unit, yeah?
Okay.
And This one, line number 35.
Okay. Okay, so we're specifying the unit and the lesson inside.
This is the identifier that wants to be used.
Okay.
This is not a UID. This is a path. I don't know why they decided. I don't understand why you are not able to use this. Somebody needs to explain to me why. Based on what Kamil wrote, I don't understand why. Anybody else understands?
Uh, so what David had said to us was that ID could be anything. If they recreate the JSON, what he said was the ID might change. It will not be always the same. That's what we heard from David.
Oh, if that JSON gets recreated, that ID might change.
Yes,
Why?
that's why
Makes no.
David, we are not sure, Manik. So because we even wanted to use the ID, but then only David had said so.
Okay, then we are not implementing this. Say no to the feature. That's fine. It's a waste of effort. Hmm, I think. Okay, that's choice one.
Okay.
Manifest product ID unit hash ID. Hash is fine. That you can do. This is acceptable.
Uh,
I can agree to that.
uh, unit.uid, the Manik, or unit.id.
What? You said don't
So
use
is it
unit ID. So if you have to use line number 34,
okay?
then you need to hash it in the QR code.
Okay. So if the version number on the UID changes, this will not affect it.
The version number is important.
Monik, last
Why,
one.
why is the version number important?
No, my question is
I- If the
in
version
case
number
if the
changes,
print
it is part of the UID, right? Version number is part of the UID.
yes,
I'm saying use unit
yes,
one. I'm saying use this value, the whole value of the UID.
okay. Manik, my question is, so if in case the UID version number inside of it changes, will the hash still be the same or will it change?
It will be different. Yeah?
Okay, because these QRs are going to be printed in the books.
No, but that's the same. I happen to use this guy. Oh, because he's asking you to use this. Yeah, I don't know. This is this is garbage data. I don't like to work with garbage data. Makes absolutely no sense. Or this Kamil guy wants to do this here, yeah? Something like identifier. He wants to introduce this here, unit one. This is okay. That he can do. And then we can use the identifier.
Manik, your screen is frozen for me. Okay, yeah, I can see now. Identifier.
Right. So this we could do identifier. We could introduce new ones, properties. Application is not gonna make that derivation. Let me go to UID, then go into the breakdown by slash and then pick the last one. Application is not going to do that. I've
Okay.
spoken to you before about this as well, right? I don't
Yes.
want application to base anything based on that stupid path.
Okay. Okay, Manik. Yeah. Okay, then we'll ask David that we'll need a new field and we
Yeah,
can use that.
they can add a new field. Yeah, one of these approaches is acceptable.
Yeah.
Where is the CAD? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I will speak to David in 5 minutes and I'll explain to him what we discussed. When you speak, you say the same thing, and we can let Kamil figure it out. If
Okay,
that
Manik.
Kamil is putting garbage property in the data, should not be your burden to bear.
Okay.
Okay. If he still continues to say, "No, this is what has to happen because that's what we have," then I'll talk to David.
Okay, Manik.
If this application has to scale, it cannot scale on broken data structures. It has to have some improvement on the service layer. What is this barbecue thing?
That is the tool that he uses to create the JSON.
Who uses?
David.
David uses barbecue.
Yeah.
So he uses barbecue to get data from somewhere to create a JSON file and host that as .json, and you get it.
No, he just in the barbecue tool he can create nodes for unit and lesson. He can just type in some data and put some links for the actual content zip files, and then he can just on click of something he'll create the JSON and he'll upload it to the server.
Then the JSON file gets updated somewhere.
Yes,
Oh, so this is manually authored, right?
yes.
Okay, so yeah, David can always inject an identifier. That he can always do that. He doesn't need Kamil to do
Okay.
that. David.
So and one more thing is So right now, the activities will have an engine. This will contain all the JS files on how the activity should be presented and the icons for it and so on.
Hmm.
So what David suggested was we should keep the engine downloaded separately in our app, and we'll just download the activity HTML files and all.
Yeah.
The HTMLs should have a path shown to this JS engines in our app. So any ideas on how to implement it?
What does that mean? They should have a path shown to the JSON engine in
So
our app.
the HTMLs will have a no, it's a normal HTML which has a JS input header and CSS and all.
Hmm.
So instead of having it along with every activity zip files, he wants us to put the JS and CSS common stuffs separately downloaded and kept in our app. And when we download the activity, we should just download the HTML files, and it should have this path redirected to here for the
Okay.
JS and
Okay. So what you have is app downloads a JS engine somewhere, right? Let's say
Sorry, Manik,
some.
I'll say clearly. Engine folder contains all the icons and supported JS files with it. So each activity while bundling, they'll bundle the engine folder. In order to bundle each time, David suggested if once we download and keep it in index.html, we'll refer the source path for engine folder so that it would package the package.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it, right? So there is some path in the application folder where you're downloading JS, which has all the JavaScript and icons and whatnot, right?
yeah.
Okay, so let's say that this is what you're doing. Okay, so then the when you download HTML, they want to David should create the HTML so that right. For example, in use when you say pa, 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 what do you call you guys are still seeing my screen?
No, Manik.
You don't see my screen?
No, I can see your screen.
So when you like this is how a JavaScript is referred in an HTML page, right?
Manik, we are not able to see your screen yet.
I don't know, some connectivity problems on your side, or I don't know what this is. I don't know. You gotta show me your current structure. Only then I can tell you. Otherwise, why don't you decide how it should be and then you ask me if that's the right thing to do? Why don't we do it like that instead? Yeah. Let me
Okay.
not try to solve the problem for you. Why don't you come back with a solution and then we can talk about why it is right and why it is not.
So right now we have thought of a way. So what we are doing is we have a set path for downloading this engine, and once we download the HTML, we need to actually we need to read that file and edit a particular line, set this engine path over there in the JS input, save it again, so that when the
Okay.
HTML is opened, it will automatically redirect to whatever the JS it has to.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Okay, okay, Manik. Then
Okay.
we'll go that way.
Okay then. Cool. I gotta jump, guys. I'm late for another call. Talk again, yeah?
Okay, Manik.
தேங்க்யூ.
Thanks, Manik.
Thanks, Manik. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
இது என்ன அநியாயமா இருக்கு.
Mr. Gautam Raj, you can proceed with your spike.
என்னடா நம்ம அவர்கிட்ட ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டா நீங்க ஏதாவது பண்ணிட்டேன்னு சொல்ல கேக்குறாரு.
அவர் ஷேரே பண்ண கிடையாது தானே?
ஆமாங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணல 2வது தடவை. எனக்கும் வரல.
எனக்கும் வரல. ஐயோ, நீயே ஷேர் பண்ணலையா?
அவர் அப்பவே ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டாரு. பேசிட்டு அப்பவே கட் பண்ணது, அதுக்கு திருப்பி ஷேர் பண்ணவே இல்லைன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
ஆமா.
சரி.